aspirate. What I mean by aspirate is that she's going to bring out, she's already coughing, and then she's trying to swallow as well. She's about to lose her airway. So when she started coughing, that her coughing is to show that she started to struggle to maintain her airway. Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Wemimo and I'm also known as Stat Mama 5 and also known as TMO5 Kanduko. If you're new to my channel, welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, thank you always for always coming back. So today I just want to react and also come into what I'm about to discuss today, being a recovering nurse. So I don't know if you guys watch Summerakuvlogs. I'm gonna pop a picture somewhere on the screen. I've been a vivid watcher. Like, I've been watching Summerakuvlogs since I found out, or since I saw this saga between her and Obodoyibo TV. Both of them had a saga on YouTube. Since I found that saga on YouTube, that's when I've been watching Summerakuvlogs, and I love everything she does on her channel. I love how she uses her channel to portray so many things in terms of what is happening in the world from past. She's got a lot of stuff, and if you've not yet, if you don't know about her, I'm going to pop the handle of her channel on the screen so you can go find her. So she did share recently. She shared a video of how she passed away and then woke back up. Obviously, she suffered a health challenge, and that health challenge kind of like opened her eyes to a lot of things. After that health challenge, she decided to travel back home to Nigeria. So she's not been to Nigeria in 14 years, and she decided to travel back home to Nigeria. When she said she was going to travel back home to Nigeria, it just kind of like reminded me of when I decided to travel to Nigeria as well. Obviously, I traveled to Nigeria for the first time in 16 years in 2021, just after the last lockdown, and I was actually happy with myself that I made that journey, even though I don't really know what kind of like held me back from traveling back, but it just kind of like reminded me of the time I went to Nigeria, how I was looking, so how I looked forward to going back to Nigeria. So why am I here today? It's just about two videos that Summerakuvlogs uploaded of her passing out in hospital. Of her not feeling too well, to passing out in hospital, to a nurse injecting her, and I'm just going to be discussing a few of the things that I picked up. So I've made a note because I don't want to forget about it. So I'm going to be I'm just going to be discussing about each section of the video that I watched. So the first thing was that obviously she was out on public transport and then taking taxis and stuff like that, and I think Summer said she's going to be 50 soon. So I won't say she's aged, but she looks good for her age anyway. So we can from one of our videos, from the most recent one, she did mention about she having vasodilation. So vasodilation is I'll make my note here. So vasodilation occurs naturally in response to when you have low oxygen levels or increase in body temperature. So the purpose of increase in blood flow and oxygen to the parts of the body will need it most. So which means in certain circumstances vasodilation will always have an effect on someone else. So in terms of Summerakuvlogs, she was experiencing vasodilation. You can see the pores on her skin opening. She was sweating a lot, she might not necessarily have a high temperature, but obviously she was losing a lot of fluid. She was like sweating a lot. From her hands, I don't know if I found an image, you can see the pores on her skin. They were like open, they were enlarged, and she was sweating a lot. So I guess that was when she realized that obviously something was not quite well with her. So again, she decided to go to a restaurant to eat, and I remember watching her video. She asked for Lucozade to drink Lucozade, and she did eat as well. So even after eating and drinking Lucozade, she was still not feeling too well. She said she felt really dizzy and she felt like passing out. So eventually she found an hospital. So I love the fact that she knew something was wrong and she quickly made her way to the nearest hospital. And fortunately enough, there are some good nurses out there. There are some good health workers out there in Nigeria as well. I love the fact that when she was waiting, someone actually helped her summon the doctor. Someone actually moved closer to her to ask if they could help her. Wherever that woman is, may God always be with you wherever you go as well, because you're a very, very good person. So obviously that person intervened, and Summerakuvlogs was able to see a doctor. So obviously Summerakuvlogs did mention to the doctor that she was out and about, she was sweating a lot, she felt dizzy, that she has had two 2 bottles of Lucozade. So if correct me if I'm wrong, I think Lucozade are 200 mils in a bottle or 500 mils in a bottle. I'm not sure. So she said she drank 2 of those, and obviously I think the doctor checked her blood pressure, and I think it said maybe her blood pressure was low or high. I think it was low. I can't remember. And then the doctor also checked her blood sugar. So in this regard, Summer's blood sugar was high, and I put that down to the fact that she drank 2 bottles of Lucozade, because Lucozade is full of sugar anyway. So I think Summer actually drank that to think that maybe that would bring her energy levels up, but it can like increase her blood sugar. Because she had an increased blood sugar does not mean that she's diabetic, because that doctor was like, oh, I think you are diabetic. No, you don't necessarily have to be diabetic for you to have an increase in blood sugar. If you are generally feeling unwell, if you're stressed, if you're eating too much stuff, or if you're eating too much sugar stuff or starchy stuff, that's a possibility for your blood sugar to increase. Okay, so eventually he said he was going to give her fluid, and they took her upstairs to the hospital bed or something like that. So obviously Summer was on the bed, and she was telling this lady nurse that Summer was asking the nurses a lot of questions. And for a nurse, obviously she might be like, why is this person questioning me? Because Summer was like, what are you giving me? What is this? And somehow I remember clearly in that video, somehow like, you know, I don't want any sedation. I don't want to be sedated. She doesn't want any relaxant. That she doesn't want it. And this nurse said, oh, it's not relaxant. And someone said, oh, because I think the lady said maybe it's the anti-malaria stuff, but someone was like, I have my own normal anti-malaria tablet I'm taking. I don't want this. Don't sedate me. Don't do this. Don't that. No. Someone made it clear what she does not want to be given. But the lady, the nurse was like, no, I'm not giving you sedation. I'm not giving. It's an anti-malaria stuff. That don't worry, you'll be fine. This is that. So eventually they put a line they can line into Summer's hand, and they start to connect the fluid that she was being given. So this nurse was saying to Summer that, no, I'm not giving you sedation or something, but apparently Summer was being sedated, because immediately the nurse pushed whatever she pushed into Summer's hand, she started to mellow down a bit. Obviously her breathing started to kind of like, you know, stabilize a wee bit. She was starting to settle down, and then obviously that kind of like immediately that medication knocked Summer out. I knew straight away she was given sedatives. She was either giving midazolam or temazepam. She was definitely given something to, you know, to sedate her, because at some point she was sleeping, and then she wakes back up, and then this nurse gave her more stuff again. So she gave her more stuff and she went away. So upon the nurse going away, Summer, you can see from the video, I thought I'm going to go watch this video from Summer's channel. So in that video, at some point, Summer was starting to settle down, and again, cough. She started to cough. She coughed for a while, and then she stops coughing, and then it looks as if she was sleeping. She coughs for a while. She coughed for a while, and then she stops coughing again. In that instance, I started to fear for Summer. Being a recovery nurse, I started to fear for her that she is about to experience dysphagia, which means that she's struggling to swallow her spit. One, she's struggling to maintain her airway, because remember, Summer had a lot of food. She ate a lot of food. She's drank 2 bottles of drink. So this food is still settled in her stomach. It's not digested already. It's not digested. And then again, she's been sedated, even though she's told the nurse that she does not want to be sedated. It's clearly obvious that this nurse sedated Summer, because she started to cough, and at some point while she was coughing, I'm sure I heard something about like a gurgle, like gurgle. So which is like the fluid from her stomach is starting to get into her lungs. And then while I was watching, I was terrified, like, oh my god, she's going to aspirate. She's going to aspirate. What I mean by aspirate is that she's going to bring out, you know, she's already coughing, and then she's trying to swallow as well. She's about to lose her airway. So when she started coughing, that her coughing is to show that she started to struggle to maintain her airway. And then when I heard that gurgle, I'm like, oh, this woman is going to aspirate. This woman is going to aspirate. If she aspirates, that is when the food in her stomach is getting into her lungs. And in most people, when you aspirate, it can kill you. As an anesthetist, as a nurse looking after a patient who has just had surgery, the last thing you expect is for a patient to aspirate, because it could kill them. They could lose their airway. When they lose their airway, that's like an emergency. So I started to fear for someone that, oh, this woman is going to lose her airway. But obviously she was coughing. She coughed for a while, she stopped. She coughed for a while, she coughed for a while. So, you know, that story is just like that. But in my own way, where I'm coming into this into this story of what Summer experienced was the fact that Summer should have let the doctor know her past medical history. If there was anything else she was, in terms of health conditions that she was struggling with, if she was on any medication, like let the doctor know what medication, because here in the UK, if you're going to be treated, you'll be asked what is your past medical history, what surgery have you had in the past, what illnesses have you had in the past. I believe that if Summer had told that doctor those things, that could give the doctor a clear view of what to start first, like what kind of fluid, what kind of blood they should request for, because in this regard the doctor is working with blind information. So someone just said, I had a lot of food and I drank this, that. So I felt if Summer had given the doctor her past medical history and what medication she was taking, it will have known the right right way to go in terms of treating her. And then again, secondly, when she was upstairs telling the nurse that I don't want to be sedated, Summer's consent was not being listened to. She did not consented to be sedated, but this nurse went ahead to sedate her. So I believe when Summer was saying to this nurse that I might take anti-malaria that I normally take, I don't want to be sedated, I believe if Summer had given the doctor all this information, the doctor would have known what kind of medication to give Summer at that time. But saying that to the nurse is just gonna give what the doctor has prescribed. So again, and I think the nurse was a bit taken back because obviously Summer was asking a lot of questions, and maybe that's an hospital that they don't have leg, and in a way that nurse might think maybe Summer is someone they've just sent to come and spy. So yeah, so obviously Summer was being sedated and this nurse left. In the UK, when somebody gets sedation of any type, you want to make sure that they are connected to a monitor that is measuring their blood pressure every 5 minutes. If you're going to sedate somebody, obviously in this regard, Summer is suffering from heat stroke, and obviously she's had a lot of food to eat and she's been sedated as well. So if you're going to put somebody on sedation, you want to put them on minimum of at least 4 liters of oxygen, because you want to be able to monitor their oxygen level. Thirdly, you want to monitor their cardiac input as well. You want to put in 5 lead ECG on to monitor their heart, to make sure that there's no cardiac changes. Obviously she's been sedated, you want to make sure that her heart rate is not dropping, because there are some sedations that you'll be given that will dramatically drop your heart rate, it will drop your blood pressure, it will drop everything. So in Summer's case, I was so fearful for her that, oh my god, this woman is going to lose her airway, she's going to aspirate. Like I said, aspirate is when the content of your stomach goes into your lungs, and in that situation where she's been sedated, there's no way for her to protect her airway. So in that regard, God forbid if she has aspirated, Summer could have choked, and God forbid she passed away. The situation they left her in the hospital was a very, very dangerous, in fact a very, very dangerous risk to her life. So in this regard, I just felt, that Summer did well by going to an hospital to make sure that she was being checked out. However, I felt her experience could have been different if she'd given the doctor her past medical history, like, okay, this is what surgery I've had in the past, this is the medication I've taken before, this is the medication I'm currently taking now, this is what I had this morning, this is what I had, if she'd given the doctor that information, she wouldn't have, maybe her consent will have been upheld in the first place when she said, I don't want to be sedated, don't sedate me. But yeah, I'm sure Summer herself knew that the nurse was lying. Also, Summer also did mention that she believed it was heat stroke she was experiencing. Like, the heat in Nigeria is no big joke. Heat stroke can kill, especially if you are not well hydrated. I remember when I was in Nigeria, everywhere I went, I was going with an umbrella, and my mom was like, why are you going about with an umbrella? People will know you are not from here. I'm like, how will people know I'm not from here? I'm dark skinned, I'm a woman, I wear skirt, I wear this, how would they know that I'm not from here? But I try my best to try and stay hydrated. I was going about with umbrellas, with hats, and everywhere. At some point, I think the second day when I arrived in Nigeria, I had suya and I had 2 bottles of Smirnoff. That night, diarrhea. After that night like this, I was indoor with diarrhea for 3 days. Afterwards, I did not eat out anywhere. Maybe in a restaurant, I go in there to order food, but roadside food and buka that I don't know, I do not go there to buy food at all. I only ate the food my mom cooked, and if I go to maybe like Sensational or some of this fast eatery food, I go there to buy food. But any corner side buka, I avoided going in there to eat at all. So in this regard, Summer was obviously she experienced heat stroke as well, and heat stroke obviously with that kind of son in Nigeria is enough for somebody who has not been in Nigeria for 14 years to suffer a heat stroke. And also heat stroke can kill if you're not being given adequate fluid, if you're not staying hydrated. So that's another condition, that if you're going to Nigeria, please stay safe, stay hydrated all the time. If you're they now do all this fan that you put around your neck. If you can even get 20 of those, get 20 of those, pack them with you to go to Nigeria. So that's that being discussed. And also I felt that when that nurse was giving Summer those medication, Summer should have let that Nigerian nurse know that she's actually a nurse. Yeah, maybe if Summer had actually mentioned to that Nigerian nurse that she was a nurse, it could have made that Nigerian nurse do everything by the book. Such as when Summer was like, I don't want you to give me any sedation, she will have stepped back, hold off the medication she was going to give Summer, and let the doctor know that, oh, this person is a nurse. She said that I should not give her this medication if it's sedation. She said that she's on a certain medication. She said that she's on a certain particular tablet. She doesn't want anti-malaria because she already took anti-malaria and don't want to overdose. So if maybe, just maybe, if Summer had said to that Nigerian nurse that she's a nurse, that these things I mentioned, that nurse will have gone back to the doctor and let the doctor know, and then the doctor will obviously, go back to reassess Summer. So again, I just felt that it's very, very important that when we are giving consent, we should be very, very vocal. I do not want this, I do not want that. But obviously this nurse lied to say that she did not give Summer sedation, but it was obviously that she sedated Summer. And also I mean, in this Summer's video, there are so many lessons we could learn, and she also said she was sharing that video so that we could learn, you could be prepared, so that when you are going to hospital, the people, obviously Summer had her uncle there. While Summer was coughing, the uncle did not know what to do. At some point, the uncle wanted to go out to go and get somebody, but he didn't want to leave her. And in this case as well, if you see anybody that you think may be aspirating, that is maybe they are coughing and it looks as if they are unable to swallow their spit, what you could do is put them in recovery position. It means that lying them on their side and lifting and raising their legs. I'm going to pop an image of what a recovery position is. Lie them on their side and lift their leg up a little bit, so that way if they are going to cough off anything, if they are going to choke on anything, if they are lying on their side, anything they are bringing out could easily come out from their mouth, and that way they are not going to choke. So that's the recovery position. You can help anybody that you think maybe they are coughing and you think like they are struggling to swallow. The best thing you can do for them is put them in recovery mode. So I just pray and hope that Summer is doing well wherever she is right now. If she's still in Nigeria, sis, I'm hoping that you're in good health. Please be very, very careful. Take care of yourself. And like I said, Nigeria was tough for me when I went, but that won't stop me from going back again. And I'm wishing Summer a safe trip back to Nigeria, and I'm wishing she comes back home safely as well. And like, guys, let me know what you think in regards to the things I've mentioned in this video, and feel free to share your experiences of when you've went back home to Nigeria, or if you've traveled and you ended up in hospital. Share your experiences in the comment section. Let us discuss, and also let's go wish Summer Aku all the best on our trip to Nigeria. And like now I'm stalking her channel because I want to know what happened next. Anyway guys, this is the end of my video. I hope you have learned one or two things from this video, and I hope you've learned a few things from Summer's video as well if you've watched our video. And before you go, don't forget to like, drop a comment in the comment section, subscribe if you're yet to do so, turn on the post notification so you don't miss any other post from me, and don't forget to share, tag Summer Aku. Yes, I am rooting for her and I'm wishing her all the best. All right, see you later. Bye.